And also the one thing that we do have is we have more than one soulmate in a life. So sometimes you'll have those that are pulled into the soul part of the soul plan, but it's actually part of the soul family or part of the extended soul family. So it gets quite complicated, but by the same token, really exciting. So sometimes you can work through 2, 3, or 4 different soulmates. One, you've actually cleared a lot of the information, because soulmates are not always 100% positive. I'm sure Danny will be able to comment on this. Some of the things you have to learn with them. Sometimes they're karmic partners, and sometimes they're splitter half. So it could be that your own soul has split into 2 before you got here and had a male and a female, and you get to see them and you get to know them. You know that it's your other half, but not necessarily for you to marry or to be with in this life. It's a whole new show.
Right, I'm going to drop this belter in. Mila Kunis exposes Ashton Kutcher to FBI. Did he accomplish? ? Any news on this?
I'd love to believe that. This is a popular thumbnail. I've seen it on about 4 videos so far. I have not, however, been able to chase down anything even remotely like that. As of this moment, Mila and Ashton seem to still be, by all accounts, they're still holding tight as a team. And I don't know that surprises me much with these 2. They've been through an awful lot of stuff, and I think that Mila's probably as much victim as anything else. She's been around these guys and their hijinks and their chemicals and all of the stuff that they were doing since she was 14. So I would imagine that I don't think we're going to see her turning on Ashton Kutcher, but that's my humble opinion. We'll see.
So is this fake news?
Yes. And I'll tell you something, that right now we have an epidemic out here of fake news on the big red button, especially on YouTube, that is absolutely phenomenal. This is all done. These channels are created by AI. There's nothing about these. I mean, they're all just AI creations, and you'll start to realize that you're watching the same video. And I got to a point where to do Diddy research, I just got to leave YouTube. Like anything that is here, you're going to have to leave to chase it down and see if there's any truth to it or anything else. It's just, there's so much out there that people can get away with saying anything. I saw a thumbnail that said, Diddy found unconscious on cell floor. Right? A lot of people watch that, but that fool has not been found unconscious on a cell floor. And if he had been, no one will know about it. That's how the Bureau of Prison works. So as soon as I saw it, I went, I knew that one was BS.
No, it didn't happen, because it's very easy for me to pop in and pop out, and he's never been unconscious on his floor. He slipped once near the steel toilet in the corner, but he didn't become unconscious. No.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Well said, Tommy. Well said.
It is. Right. Moving on. How many times has humanity been saved from nuclear disasters, guys?
Many times, I'm going to say. And I know for a fact that the good and benevolent ETs, they interfere. People are like, they're not going to do all the work, because this planet has been, beings have come along and tried to take it over. It sounds ridiculous, I know it does, but it's going to become such the normal way that we speak when we start telling the truth about the history of our planet. The ETs, the benevolent ETs, they have prevented so many disasters. Now, in the recent hurricanes we saw, excuse me, with HAARP, HAARP, the Higher Auroric Something Research Program that the military have. So you can look it up. It's not hidden. It's right there in your face. There's at least 11 of them. I believe they're 24 by 24 acres, and they are basically, shifting the electromagnetic frequency up to the ionosphere, which then bounces and spreads. Anyway, just very briefly, they can absolutely indeed change the weather, and people can't get their head around it. They're like, how could you interfere with the tides and the ocean, the wind? It's been happening for so long. I know for a fact when there were 5 points, 5, what is it called? The category of the storm, the hurricane, it gets upgraded. I know that the good ETs, many of them brought down category. They brought that down. They are preventing so much, but we, humanity, are the ones that have to stand up against the oppressors. They're not going to just land and take care of everybody. It's our job to grow too.
Yeah, agreed.
I wanted to ask everybody: has anyone seen the Queen Bee? Has anyone seen the video that was put up and then was very quickly taken down, where she was caught in the act of one of her rituals?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And I
Really?
very quickly grabbed it, and I was checking what she
Allegedly,
was
obviously,
doing.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it was her. It was one of the rituals that I recognized what she was doing. So it's quite an interesting aspect that there are those now that realize that perhaps it's time to start telling the truth, and that's part of the planetary changes we have right now. Before various portals are opened on the 24th of December, which will be opened by the Vatican, by the Pope. So that's going to be a good one to watch. I'm going to be watching the energies very closely there, extremely closely.
Whoa. This is all like above my pay grade. What are these portals that are opening like on the 24th December? Where do I have to go? Oh, I heard Vatican in that. Like, what's going on? Sorry, I've missed.
It happens. It used to happen every 100 years, where the Pope was able to provide a service and an incantation to open particular portals. And there's 4. Obviously, they're going to call the corners. Normal practice. You call each of the corners and each of the portals. So this is happening on the 24th. And it will be a service that will be broadcast live. So all of the sheeple will be able to be watching what happens with the energy. And I'm going to be watching very closely because I want to see what comes out and what moves in. And at the same time, we've got HARP, which is also an area to open a portal, but opening a portal to the darker realms. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And then we've got our friends, our off-worlders that are in high altitude above the earth, making sure everything remains peaceful. So we're going to have a look and see exactly what they do. And this is why the Queen Bee was making this particular ritualistic offering. And it all ties together.
Oh, can't wait for that. So we've got a question specifically for you, Bev. And obviously, when will the target on me end? Going on now for 8 years. Remote neural monitoring and gang stalking, please. 070771.
So that's the birth date then, I'm guessing.
Sorry, there was super chat and I got a message from Sean saying you need to get the super chats on there. So thank you so much, super chat.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm going to have to bow, ladies. I have another appointment I have to be on. I'm going to go talk about evil people on another channel. But thank you so much for having me on here. And you
nice to meet you and nice to meet you.
And I'm making a short. I'm making a short out of that.
Merry Christmas indeed.
Merry Christmas, Tommy. See you soon.
Right, we'll see you soon.
Sarah. So yes, Beverly.
So, the target. Yeah, so it's 774. Yeah. I think because we've got this 16-year cycle finishing on the 31st, I think with those numbers and the energy around Numi, I don't know what you feel. Energy, Emily, I have the same energy from her. I think she's coming to the end of the cycle, is what I'm getting. I don't know if you get the same energy, but that's what I get from her remotely looking at her with a target on her back. Yes, it's moving towards the end. So I reckon next year will be a good year. I don't think the target will be removed totally, because I think she might have another full year to go with it, making it the full cycle. But it's definitely going to be getting less.
For sure. Lighter. I see kind of that like lighter energy released from back of her for sure. So agreed, Beverly.
Yeah.
Also, numerology-wise, she's a 22, so she is a really powerful numerological number. 22. It's also angelic vibration too. But when you add 2 and 2, the number 4 is about being grounded. It's about having security. It's about having safety. So she's working with some really good natural kind of soul energy frequencies to begin with, which is probably why she feels like she's some kind of a target. But because things have been released, I can see the black magic occult, all of the targeting for people with this higher element, this higher frequency in them that they've come in with to fight this spiritual battle that we're all in. I would say this is going to be a really good year for that lady or that man, Numi.
Yes, thank you, Numi, for the super chat. We've got another super chat question here, so I'm going to ask all of you for this, but we'll start with Bev. So Mansa Musa, how would I know if I'm fit to be a remote viewer? That's a really interesting question.
It's a huge question.
Yeah.
Huge question. Yeah. Well, I think do one of the checklists that are online about remote viewing, so that you can understand whether you'd find that that's something extremely interesting, because remote viewing calls on your own energy and calls on your extrasensory perception as a key. Also, as it looks like a gentlemanly type of energy. Have a look and make sure that you're able to ground yourself extremely well, and that you're able to look within yourself and use those energies in a logical way. Because when I first start training my groups, I train them in such a way that we have very simple targets to start with. And perhaps you can test yourself by having someone put a photograph of something very simple, maybe just, a landscape or something. Ideally, initially, no, people, animals, dogs, cats, cars, those sort of things. Very simple, organics, trees, mountains, water, very simple. That's it. And put that in an envelope. Put in any number that you like on the front of it as a target, and get someone, friend of your family or somebody, just to hide it in the house. Read the target, see what the picture looks like, put it back in, and then give Mansa the target and start seeing in the first few minutes. Tune into that target and then write down what you pick up and start training yourself. You will soon know whether you would be able to learn remote viewing. Everybody can, just at different levels. Is that helpful?
And is there a guideline how long something like this would take?
How long to pick up the signature, or how long it would take to learn?
To learn, for all those out there. Yeah.
Some of my students within like 6 months were very talented and picked it up really quickly and were able to work on cases within the first 6 months. Others took longer. Those that are, postmenopausal ladies, they tend to have an easier ride because they can concentrate their energies and they don't have the natural cycle of the moon cycle that comes to us every month. That is something that's quite interesting. It's a fact within the RV world. And others can take longer. It sometimes can take up to 2 years, especially if you're finding that your conscious mind is bringing in information, and that makes you have to work a lot harder. So ideally, what I teach my students is, you take your pen, and when you start, if you find you're getting bombarded, you just do lots and lots and lots and lots of circles, which then your conscious mind is working with the pen and doing lots and lots of circles. You're also concentrating on the target, and then your images are coming in because your conscious mind is consciously working with the pen. So give it something else to think about, because what's coming through on this side, that's the facts.
What's interesting that I'm picking up from Mansa is that what I picked straight away, this sense of like a self-doubt, like within this person, there is this kind of flame that they really have this desire to follow this. We just keep tapping into that. I sense this kind of this fear of doubt, or like a block preventing this person from really going for this. And I just encourage them to keep following that flame deep within. Always come back to your own compass, always. So that's what I was just sensing. Jessica.
Good.
And as a tool, one of my very great friends, Tony Rodriguez, is the best remote viewer on the planet, in my opinion. Obviously, Beverly is incredible too with her team, her clients. But Tony Rodriguez he's actually coming on this channel soon, so people will get to see him. But it's TonyRodriguez.com with an S on the end, not a Z or a Z. Tony Rodriguez. He's got a little course that can help you figure out if you're going to be adept at this or not on his website, TonyRodriguez.com, and Talks with Tony. He is incredible. So there's a good little tip to really answer that question like this week for you.
No, thank you, ladies. So the next question, we're going to swing it back to what everyone wants to talk about at the moment. Hi, Bev. Did Kelly Rowland, Beyonce's bandmate, that was, God, what was the band called? I was all over them.
Destiny's Child.
Yes, that's it. Get pregnant with Jay-Z.
I haven't had a look at that, I'm afraid, Reshma. I haven't had a look at that. Does anyone else want to come in on that?
I mean, my first initial instinct is no, personally. I'm not sure.
No.
Not sure what anyone else thinks.
Oh, there was a question for Tommy here. What a shame he's missed. So the question here is Stephen Greer an agent or is he a good person working for the people?
Okay.
Judging from that response.
Yeah. Annie, I'm going to leave this one to you because you know my views on Stephen.
Right. Stephen Greer used to be a CIA asset. It's not hidden. And so you've got that. We also have the fact that Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer, has done some incredibly brilliant work in helping people get their repressed technology for humanity out into the masses. He's also on his own individual journey. He's not part of my disclosure conferences, my disclosure team, the team I'm working with to bring truth to humanity. He's very much on his own path. He's done a lot of work with soldiers in the military, helping them come out and speak their truth and tell tales on the military about the Black Ops. So he's done some exceptional work. There's no two ways about it. I don't know him personally. I go also on feeling and a couple of things on the inside. But you know what? As long as we're getting information out on the truth of our planet, the hidden technology, the cures for cancer, the cures for everything, then, you know, let's hope that we're all moving in the right direction, in the same direction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. So next question from Dory Angel. Thank you for the super chat here. So we've got, thank you, ladies. I am an empath. I travel at night without knowing. I did it and have attachments who come and go. Why? Date of birth, 5th of the 3rd, 69. So 5th of March, I presume. I don't know with those two numbers, man. Energy is a lot. Thank you. So yeah, any advice for Dory?
I'll give you a tip, Dory. If you don't want to astral travel, if you don't want to leave your body at night, and teach this to your kids, guys, if they're having nightmares, when you go to bed, you imagine that you are inside a silver sleeping bag, a bright silver sleeping bag. And on the inside of that silver sleeping bag is pure, pure, pure light. And you imagine zipping it all the way up. And you are making